This is TWiT.
So Nvidia has a new video card coming out. I think, is it the 3060?
I think that's it. Yeah.
And the problem is right now you can't get a GPU for love or money because they're being snapped up. I don't think it's just coin miners. In fact, I doubt it is. I'm sure it has a lot more to do because of scalpers and speculation.
I don't know if I agree with that, Leo. You know, friend of TWiT, Christina Warren, and I are both building supercomputers because we have quarantine craze right now. We've both lost our minds.
Super gaming computers.
Yeah, well, for me, I want to be ready for Unreal 5 when it comes out. With the Apple lawsuit, I'm just, even though I'm literally recording this on a $6,000 iMac Pro, I've just come to the conclusion there's no future in Unreal development on the Mac platform.
You know, the last a couple of times ago you were on raving about this.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 looks great, but I'm getting ready basically to learn Unreal, and I wanted to develop a really good PC for it. So, you know, Threadripper, AMD chip, you know, AMD is definitely beaten Intel when it comes to that. Threadripper is just absolutely amazing, but the hardest part to source has been the graphics card. Yeah. And this RTX, the one I ended up getting, Leo, it is literally a $1,600 graphics card. And I want to tell you why I believe this really is mostly Bitcoin people snatching this up. I did the math on how much money I would make with this if I dedicated this ultra computer that I'm building. It's going to cost about $7,000 to Bitcoin mining all day long. And I ran the math on my electricity costs in the area, and it comes down to roughly about $18 a day, which would pay for this entire computer in a year if I chose to do that. So,
so you're going to make more Bitcoin mining than it will cost you in electricity
for the year. Yeah,
and enough so. Enough so that it will actually pay for this fancy computer.
If I chose to do that, I'm not sure if I would do it long term because, again, it's an environmental crime.
It's a nightmare.
And I don't know if I want to contribute to that.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to try it some just to be able to talk about it on Rocket. But this particular
is it a little bit of a roulette game? I mean, do you know consistently how much Bitcoin you mine, or is it kind of up and down, and like you might hit 50 Bitcoin tomorrow by accident?
Well, as I understand the pricing, and part of why I wanted to do this project was to do it and learn all these things for myself. But as I understand it, they give you a block of it, and it's the amount of block you can basically get through, and you get paid for that.
Okay.
The company
so it's pretty consistent, predictable.
If you're working with a company, as I understand it, they get to keep the Bitcoin or the Ethereum. You're just doing your part in helping get it. But the Nvidia, the 3090 that I got is excellent for this. The 3080 that Christina got is also excellent for this. So I fully believe like the profit motive is there because you can make more money with this than you'd lose not having it.
I was assuming that because this is part of the way Bitcoin is designed, that it gets more and more difficult to mine. These math problems get harder and harder. That's intentional up to when they generate 21 million Bitcoin and then all mining ceases. I was under the impression that by now it was so hard that you really only could do it in places where electricity was almost free. But I guess Massachusetts is
I know that
it's my theory.
One of my kids got his graphics card when he built his PC. This is a couple years ago from Bitcoin miners just selling them off like crazy, probably because it was getting harder.
Right. So what, and actually it doesn't affect Bitcoin, I think, but what Nvidia has decided to do with the 3060 is to nerf the performance on Ethereum mining. Apparently it's not Bitcoin mining, it's just Ethereum mining.
Right.
And the idea being, well, no one will buy this and we'll be able to sell it to gamers who are demanding it. This is the RTX 3060. It's $329, so it's not as fancy as the one you've got. And so the idea is we'll preserve, this will be a good test to see if it's scalpers or if it's actually Bitcoin miners who are snapping up all the stock, because it won't be that useful. Now, for some reason, they're focusing on Ethereum. Maybe they've decided that Bitcoin isn't that popular right now because of its great cost. Ethereum is more popular. I don't know.
Right. But this is what I don't think this makes sense. I think all of us want companies like Newegg to come to a more equitable way to distribute these graphics cards.
Right.
With Cyberpunk coming out, there are a ton of people that just want to be able to play this game because it's fundamentally broken on consoles. So, the 3080 has ray tracing. There are a lot of really excellent reasons gamers would want to spend $600 on this graphics card. Where I think the logic is faulty is anyone that has a really large mining operation to be buying these cards at bulk to really be contributing to this problem is going to be able to rewrite this, basically rewrite the driver to get around this. And
Right.
It would be very straightforward.
NVIDIA says it is not an easy thing to do. There's a secure handshake between the driver and the silicon. So it would be very difficult to code a driver that would eliminate that hash rate limiter. They say, by the way, here's their answer to that question of why not Bitcoin. Ethereum has the highest global mining yield for any GPU mineable coin at the moment and is thus the likely main driver for GPUs in mining. Other algorithms do not contribute significantly to GPU demand. I didn't know this, and this cannot change quickly due to the network effects within a given cryptocurrency. So anything that uses Dagger, Hashimoto, or ETH hash-like algorithms will be affected by the rate limiter. I don't know. Maybe you could mine Dogecoin.
That's the dream, Leo.
That's the dream. I'm living the dream.
The American dream.
The American dream to mine Dogecoin. University of Cambridge did do a study on the huge cost of Bitcoin mining, and it's pretty bad. Bitcoin accounts for 0.48% of the total electricity production worldwide, 0.56% of the total electric consumption worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's if it were a country, Bitcoin would be in between Argentina and Norway in terms of the amount of energy used.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the U.S. or China, which is at this left-hand side of the graph, but still bigger than a lot of countries. It's a significant drain on resources.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Didn't
so
Microsoft just
guilty.
put a lot of, speaking of resources, and it's not Bitcoin mining specific, but Microsoft has started putting data centers or experimenting with putting data centers underwater
Yes.
because it's cooler? That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Cool.
I wonder what sort of impact that's going to have on ocean life, because the heat that produces is immense.
Yeah, but their Google searches will be so much faster.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And it'll be very wet.
How to avoid shark bite.